Kuiper Belt, a region of the solar system beyond the orbit of Neptune, believed to contain many comets, asteroids, and other small bodies made largely of ice. So there.
You got me.
I got you.
Got me.
Janet Kuypers. And even Pluto.
Yes, that's right.
And even Pluto. Hi there. I thought that I would read for you another poem from the cc&d collection called On the Edge. But I'm not squatting like that. Thus, because I want you to feel like it's October. I gotta look for something so I can say that. It's called Gouge Out Their Eyes. Looking forward to my little ritual, I researched out my next victim. And then I gained gratification by gaining total control over someone else. Looking forward to getting them alone and cutting out the top of their head, drilling my knife through their skull, cutting down to the deep, fleshy intellect, so I could scoop out the brains, feel bits of the organ in my bare hands, clear out the skull, make them hollow, gouge out their eyes, open their mouths wide, so the world can see how empty my victim now was. I didn't do this often, otherwise I might have been caught. But all these years of debasing someone weaker, this was my own little ritual, and I was ready to share my secret with just the right person to help me get rid of the remains, to revel with me in this little game I play. I found someone, I confided with them, and they told me this was against their religion. I begged, I pleaded, but they said the only way they would join me is if they could take the skull and throw it from a building roof. After we got done, it just dismembering them, to further destroy the evidence. So I agreed. So we drank in the sewer and we drew up our plan. That may have been one of the last times I did this to someone, because it really was fun in the middle of the night when no one else was around, watching their hollowed skull splatter on the ground. I would think that it was actually closure, a final piece to this ritual, when after so much destruction, I could say that my work was done. That's a poem about carving the pumpkin. And I actually asked somebody, they said it's against my religion to carve a pumpkin. It's a pagan holiday.
Oh.
And I'm like, and he's like, I'll do it if I could just throw the pumpkin. I'm like, okay, why not? So that was from this poem is about series, so it's just got poems about odd things. This is a poem about a toaster, or whatever it would be. This, I have this text I've written all screwed up, which is not what I wanted. But I have two poems, and I can't believe that I'm going to read this first one. This is what you get for writing a poem a day. This one was written on National Panda Day. And it's called Eliminating the Endangered Species List. Brace yourselves for this one. I'm a vegetarian, by the way. Just going to say that, just when you hear this. It's strange to think that some of the animals Americans enjoy eating today verged in America on being endangered species. But this makes sense. When Americans first came to these pristine lands, it was their first inclination to go slaughter with impunity. I've seen it in history. When British frigate ships first discovered the Galapagos Islands, they thought that those giant tortoises were the perfect food source, so they would flip these giant animals on their backs and have so much food to get home. And in the U.S., bison and buffalo were on the endangered species list because of my husband's great-great-uncle and Buffalo Bill and others in the great frontier with their great mass shooting ability. And on the East Coast, labor workers at docks would eat the lobsters that seemed so common on the shores that they were almost considered garbage no one else would bother to consume. But now that we strip this land of the seas dry of what we now call precious animals, we revere them as food for mass market. And we mass market them as food so humans can always be enjoying these once common and now rare animals on the planet for mass consumption once again. Over history, we humans have learned how to exploit markets. Utilize markets so that they work to our advantage, so that everyone gets what they want. Which is why I wonder now, on National Panda Day, when the endangered animal is now on the red list of threatened species, why people haven't taken my best friend's idea seriously in making animals on the Endangered Species List a delicacy. Because if we do that, then all these gluttonous Americans will want to make sure that these pandas are available on the market for their consumption at their leisure. Because when it comes to supply and demand, that truly is the American way. Now, I'm a vegetarian, and although I can say I'm all for saving a species, I wonder if us people, with our big brains and our opposable thumbs at the top of the intellectual food chain, I wonder if slaughtering some animals for later consumption can actually save a species from extinction. If a vegetarian can consider that choice and wonder why, if a burger joint sells burgers, why Panda Express can't sell panda meat, then maybe we have to reevaluate how to save every species on the planet after all. Which lives are worth saving, one can wonder, when trying to save a species.
They
don't panda meat, then I'll try it. I don't know. The vegetarian says. This is a short one that I'll share with you because. This is called Kind of Like a City. Was driving on the expressway today in a town that will forever be foreign to my soul. There wasn't that much traffic on this day, and I looked up at the sky with the tall interchanges to other roads. These skyscraper roads make me think of my toy car tracks. They were red, by the way, and the tracks shot up so high from my toy gas station. I'll always think that these streets are like my little toy car set for play, not real. This town is just a facsimile to my big city, never quite as big as my city deserves to always be. So I was driving, seeing the roads, and noticing the clouds over this entire town, almost like fog over the moors, almost seemingly like smog. It wasn't smog. Let me make that clear. There's not enough industry or enough people to hurt the environment to make it look like a real city. But for this one moment, I drove down the expressway and saw what could be construed as smog and thought, I can't close my eyes driving on the road, but if I try to take a moment, I just might think that I was actually in a real city to me. I'm only driving, but sometimes, please, let me dream.